Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're here to discuss a critical public health issue, drug overdoses in Washington state. Our goal is to provide you with information, resources, and hope. First, I want to share how Chinese Radio Seattle is working to support our community in this important fight against drug overdose. With the support and guidance of the Washington State Department of Health, we carry out community-based education and prevention activities aimed at reducing illnesses and death caused by drug overdoses. We hold community events to share vital information about health and raise awareness. We listen carefully to community voices, so we understand the real needs and concerns of our people. We produce bilingual contents to reach more people, making sure language is not a barrier to knowledge. And importantly, we work to connect community members with resources. Whether that means medical help, counseling, or recovery programs for those who need health interventions. Together, we can build a stronger, healthier community. Let's begin by understanding how addictive drugs affect our brains. Our brains have a reward system that releases a chemical called dopamine when we engage in pleasurable activities, like eating or socializing. This system encourages us to repeat behaviors that are beneficial for survival. However, addictive drugs hijack this system by causing a surge of dopamine, much higher than natural rewards. This intense pleasure reinforces drug intake behavior. Over time, the brain adapts by reducing dopamine receptors, making it harder to feel pleasure from everyday activities. This leads to cravings and the loss of control as individuals seek the drug to feel normal again. Understanding this process helps us see addiction as a medical condition, not a moral failing. It's a chronic disease that alters brain function, and with the right support and treatment, recovery is possible. Now that we understand how addiction works in the brain, let's look at the substances that often lead to addiction. First, we have opioids. Drugs like fentanyl, heroin, and prescription painkillers such as morphine. These drugs are extremely powerful in relieving pain, but they are also highly addictive. Fentanyl, in particular, is 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine, and even a tiny amount can be fatal. Next are stimulants, such as methamphetamine, also known as meth or crystal, and cocaine. These drugs create intense energy and euphoria, but they damage the brain's dopamine system quickly, leading to serious dependence. We also have benzodiazepines, commonly prescribed for anxiety and sleep disorders. Drugs like Valium or Xanax. When misused or mixed with opioids, they can become very dangerous and increase the risk of overdose. Understanding the names and effects of those substances can help us recognize risk and stay informed. Some of these drugs may come in legal or prescription forms, but misuse can quickly lead to addiction or even death. Now let's talk about how drug overdoses actually cause death. This is important because it helps us understand why certain behaviors and substances are especially dangerous. First, many overdose deaths, especially from opioids like fentanyl or heroin, are caused by respiratory depression. This means the drug slows down breathing until it stops completely. When someone's oxygen supply is cut off, it only takes a few minutes for the brain and heart to shut down. Second, Stimulants like meth or cocaine can cause the opposite. They speed up the heart so that they can lead to cardiac arrest. The heart simply cannot handle the pressure, especially if the person already has other health risks. A major danger is polydrug use, which means mixing different types of drugs, like opioids, with alcohol or benzodiazepines. This combination can overwhelm the body and dramatically increase the risk of overdose. Last, many overdose deaths happen when people use drugs alone. If no one is there to call for help or give naloxone in time, that rescue window can be lost. That's why community awareness, prevention tools, and access to resources are so critical, because every minute counts. Next, let's look at the current situation here in Washington State and specifically in King County. Over the past 7 years, the number of drug overdose deaths in Washington State has more than tripled. This is a sharp and heartbreaking increase that reflects the growing danger of these substances. The main driver behind this surge is synthetic opioids, especially fentanyl. Fentanyl is extremely powerful and often mixed with other drugs without people knowing, which greatly increases the risk of accidental overdose. In 2023 alone, over 1,300 people in King County lost their lives due to drug overdoses. This is not just a number, it represents family members, friends, and community members. Understanding these facts can help us realize the urgency of prevention, education, and support efforts. At the same time, it also reminds us there are effective treatments and resources available to help those struggling. Now, let's see what we, as a community, can do to help prevent overdoses and save lives. First, it's very important to be aware of fake pills and avoid buying drugs from non-regulated or unofficial sources. These fake and contaminated drugs are a major cause of accidental overdoses. Second, we should learn to recognize the signs of an overdose, such as slow or no breathing, unconsciousness, or unresponsiveness. Knowing those symptoms means we can act quickly when someone is in danger. Third, everyone should know how to use naloxone or Narcan. This medication can quickly reverse an opioid overdose and save a life. Naloxone kits are widely available in Washington, and training is often free. Finally, it's crucial to become knowledgeable about addiction, understanding risks, and how to avoid drug misuses in the first place. By working together, staying informed, and helping each other, we can make our community safer and stronger.
And as always, CRS is collaborating with the Washington State Department of Health. For this program, we're doing this out of part. So if you have any interest in connecting with us, please scan this QR code so that we'll have your name and email. And let's work together to make our community safer. Thank you.